We all know the New York City, as it's probably the most famous city in the world. New York is the center of the largest metropolitan area in the world, and it's the most populous city in the United States and one of the most populous cities in the world. The city of New York have a well-known nickname, the Big Apple. Why it's called the Big Apple? We get it, that it's big, but what it got to do with apples? There are literally tens of different theories about the origin of this nickname. Some suggest that the name came from New York City's street apple stands during the Great Depression in the 1930s. Other sources claim that name comes from an apple tree planted on the corner of 3rd Avenue and 13th Street in New York City. Some suggest that Big Apple was pre-Civil War slave code, used in the Underground Railroad. Some even suggest that New York looks like an apple when viewed from above and the name came from this. These are all fine and great theories, but they are not correct ones. The nickname, the Big Apple, originated in the 1920s, when it was popularized as a name for New York City by John Fitzgerald, horse racing writer of the New York Morning Telegraph magazine. First time he mentioned the Big Apple, was in 3rd of May 1921, when he wrote, "L.T. Bauer String, is scheduled to start for the Big Apple tomorrow." In February of 1924, Fitzgerald wrote a new story he called, "Around the Big Apple." In this column, he wrote, "The Big Apple, the dream of every lad who ever threw a leg over a thoroughbred, and the goal of all horsemen. There's only one Big Apple. That's New York." Fitzgerald apparently overheard the phrase being used by a couple of stable boys at the New Orleans racetracks, when they used it to describe New York's bigger races and racetracks and big prizes you could win there. Historically, a Big Apple was a popular non-monetary reward, and sometimes the term was used to describe the biggest prize you could win. By the late 1920s, also other writers started to use the Big Apple nickname, and it was used also in contexts other than horse racing. During the following decades, nickname gained popularity. The Big Apple nickname gained popularity again, when it was adopted as the city's nickname in 1971, when tourism campaign used it to attract tourists and brighten the image of the city. Also, the red apple logo we know today, was created for this campaign. In 1997, the southwest corner of 54th Street and Broadway was named as Big Apple Corner. This is the location where John Fitzgerald lived tens of years.